Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. My name is Yasmin Gomes, and I'm the marketing specialist at OmniClouds. OmniClouds is the leading provider of ICT as a service. Today, we are presenting a webinar on OmniClouds and SASE solutions with our partner in KSA, Sahara Net, presented by our very own Nora Albert, Manager of Strategic Engagements for the MENA region. Just a little housekeeping before we get started. If you have any questions during the presentation, please type them in the chat box to the right. And I will bring them up at the end of the presentation, and we will have a Q&A session at the end of the webinar. Without further ado, we'll turn it over to Nora.
So, hello everyone, and thank you for joining us in this webinar. My name is Nora Albert. I'm the Strategic Engagements Manager at OmniClouds. I'm very excited about our partnership with Sahara Net and about today's webinar. We're going to be talking about SASE solutions and, of course, OmniClouds and how we can help organizations become agile and save costs. So the agenda for today, we're going to be discussing the new norm of remote workers and the challenges that come with this new norm. What is SASE and what do we look in a good SASE architecture, and how does OmniClouds help organizations save costs and become agile? So the challenges of remote working today, and since the start of COVID, actually, it's becoming because there's a new working setup and it has gradually become forced on organizations to start to have and accommodate the work from home setup, or actually the work from anywhere. Some are still adopting it, some are considering it to become the normal in the future. So today, every organization has some or all of its employees working from home or from wherever. And for this to happen, CIOs need to maintain very important aspects, and they have to ensure the consistency of user experience from home, from the branch, from the different locations that users are accessing from. And the continuity of the business, the reliability of access to the critical business applications. So today we need to reach a point where employees working from anywhere are getting the optimal service, are able to access their SaaS applications without many operational burdens. And everyone likes, of course, the cost reduction that comes with it. But we have to keep into consideration that the security posture today has expanded immensely, and the worrisome of securing the users and the workload is huge. And this is where SASE comes, because SASE is about connecting and connecting. It's about coupling the networking services and the security services in order to have multiple access points, whether from home, office, mobile devices, IoT, and branches. And the applications themselves are distributed across the public internet, the private cloud. So we have many points to look at in terms of connectivity or networking as a service, and in terms of securing securing the users, securing the network from any intrusions or any threats or any vulnerabilities, as well as securing the workload. So data loss prevention is one of the very important points that we need to consider in SASE. And we have to do all this while maintaining the control and visibility that the organization needs to be able to manage all this. I need to know who is accessing what from where, why. You know, you need to have full control on your network and what is it used for. So according to Gartner, SASE is actually not a new concept. It's just taking stuff and putting it in like an architecture, stuff like the networking aspects like SD-WAN, network sandboxing, things related to traffic steering, application-aware routing. All these things need to be put together in an architecture and implemented in a way that is very tightly integrated. And that's why the recommendation, of course, is to have it from a single vendor. And it's not mandatory. It doesn't have to be a single vendor. But if it's not a single vendor, it has to be very, very tightly coupled and very, very well integrated together. Because if this does not happen, you will end up having policies, right? But they are not necessarily properly instantiated in the appropriate security points. And you might have increased latency and more networking issues, which will end up again leading to a poor user experience. So that's why SASE is becoming dominant. And today they say 2021 is the year of SASE, and by 2024, the dominant consumption model for WAN edge is going to be SASE. So now, what are the problems with the traditional architecture that is making us look into or consider SASE? Well, here we can see that the users who are accessing either from the remote locations or from branch offices are basically backhaul. All the traffic is backhauled to the data center, and all the security services, the WAN optimization services, are centralized here, which is a huge capex. And the problem is also related to performance. It becomes a bottleneck for performance, and you end up having poor application performance. And that's one of the main reasons people are reluctant in moving their applications to the cloud. So when you come to add the multi-cloud aspect to this, interconnecting SaaS with multi-cloud, it starts to get complicated because you have different policies, the different channels, and you cannot predict or control the consistency of the user experience unless you have consistent policy with application-aware routing across all the access points. So if you want to put like the 5 main things that we need to look at in a SASE solution to know that it's a good one, we need to ensure that there's a perfect marriage of the networking and security together. That's why we recommend it's a single vendor, and that's what we provide in our solution. And we're going to look deeply into it. But the main things like application-aware routing, traffic steering, latency optimization, and things like that, as well as the security like ZTNA, secure web gateway, data loss prevention, as we talked, and of course CASB if you have applications in the cloud. The solution needs to have optimal traffic steering. So whether the client, the SASE is client-based or from the branch, we need to make sure that, and this is also coupled with the rich user experience, because the more POPs and gateways you have for the SASE, the better, because you are able to route the user to the best traffic or the best performance point. And the thing about Elastic Cloud, it's scalability, it's the flexibility of the deployment, and being able to accommodate different traffic issues and failures. And last but not least, the single pane of management. This is very important, especially if you have users and branches and the main offices, and you need to be able to apply the policies consistently across everyone and manage all the issues and things that come up from a single pane. So here we're going to have a look on how our solution covers all these aspects, and how the networking services and security services are provided as one converged service, facilitating the access from regional offices, branch offices, home offices, anywhere, and applications residing in the public cloud, private data center, or even SaaS, how those applications are accessed, controlling the use of the ledger applications even. So I need to have visibility on how much bandwidth is utilized by which user in accessing which application. So this is the kind of visibility that we provide in our solution. And our deployment options are very flexible. You can have it in the cloud or on-premise, or even you can have a combination of both. So this leads to, this flexibility gives you a lot of room for improvement in terms of cost reduction. And one of the main points that we have an advantage in is the being transport agnostic, which is how we do the SD-WAN and SASE convergence. because whether you have the implementation on-premise relying on MPLS connectivity or relying on internet connectivity, or you have the SASE in the cloud, we have our POPs and gateways in many locations in the region. We're going to look into that deeper. But if you have, for example, a user in UAE accessing my cloud in Saudi, I need to make sure that the provider or the service provider will take my user through the best path with the least latency and provide him with the best user experience. So the more presence we have in the cloud, the better. So this takes us to OmniClouds and why should we go with OmniClouds, or what are the advantages of OmniClouds as a service provider? So yes, we are a digital service provider. We have three main advantages that make us stand out, starting with our global network, that our solutions are inherently secure. So we do not rely on any third party for security. Our solutions are inherently secure, and we ensure that all the security certificates and compliance requirements are 100% covered in our solution. And the last but not least, the most important aspect is that our business model is the most agile and the most cost effective, because we offer ICT as a service. So we tell our customers, we are going to help you enhance your technology, enhance your underlying connectivity without buying any CapEx. We're going to give it to you on an OpEx-based model. So our presence is very vast. We have POPs and gateways across the region. We're going to see these are our POPs and gateways, the points of presence. So we are able to cater to businesses overseas, and we of course have offices in like 8 countries in the region. But those POPs scattered across different regions are one of the main advantages that we have, especially when it comes to SASE. Because again, you need to ensure that you're giving the best pass and you're getting the best user experience at the end when it comes to application performance. So those are the cloud providers that you are going to 90% or depends on your architecture, is going to be residing at one of those global service providers. So our POPs and gateways are giving you the means to reach those to reach those data centers with dedicated pipes, with dedicated SLAs, committed latency. So we guarantee that if you're migrating your workload to the cloud, you will do it in the fastest and the easiest way possible. And if you're already having your applications in the cloud, but you need to enhance the quality of experience, we will provide you the service. So that's why we call ourselves your Uber to the cloud, because all our offerings are around facilitating the journey to the cloud, enhancing the cloud connectivity, providing means to enhance the cloud migration. And of course, we have our managed SOC services that we provide to our customers as well. So if you need to have SOC and you don't want to invest to it, we can provide this service as well to you. And all this without investing in CapEx, just use the technology. So our offerings, if we want to talk about the specific products, we have OmniBranch and OmniRemote, and these are the two components, or if you want to say the SASE client and the SASE branch. So OmniBranch is basically a branch in a box providing the SD-WAN as a service, covering connectivity, security, advanced routing, the capability to manage and monitor all your branches and headquarters from a single pane of glass with zero-touch provisioning. So it's much faster time to market. And the head end in terms of management, we have flexible deployment options, so it can be in the cloud, in country, or on-premise. And Omni Remote is the remote worker or the remote user version of it. So SASE, again, can be in the branch or anywhere, like a client or on the laptop or on the mobile phone or any device. So having a single management for all this is one of our greatest advantages. And OmniConnect is our cloud. It's our global network that we saw in the map a few slides back. This is how we provide you, if you want to have a dedicated pipe between two different locations, because you have very highly critical applications, or I have a lot of users accessing this, so you need to enhance the performance. We have our own network across the globe that we can provide you and give you the means to enhance and on-ramp your journey to the cloud. So I just want to dig a little bit deeper on the Omni Remote, because this is the main topic of our presentation, because we're discussing working from home. So when it comes to SASE architecture, this is how we give you the best solution, because and we have many use cases and many success stories, with especially in the education sector, where we secured schools and universities access to the headquarter, as well as enhancing the parental control of the students accessing from home, and the ability to apply policies on the kids' devices and prioritize the home learning applications and services, so we can increase and enhance the reliability of the performance. It also applies to healthcare, of course, the retail banking who are accessing from mobile devices, and many organizations and institutions who want to have consistent policies between their headquarters and the branches and their users working remotely. They want to control the browsing, control the access to applications. All this is done through our Omni Remote solution. So it gives you the perfect marriage, because the solution has the integration of networking, like VPN with advanced routing capabilities and application awareness. We have SASE acceleration, we have latency optimization, we have ZTNA, CASB if you're accessing the cloud, data loss prevention. All these features are embedded and available in our solution. Of course, the number of applications that we support for traffic steering is huge, and our success stories with customers who really felt the difference in the user experience is amazing. And one of the very unique and very important aspects here, because especially in our region, the thing that you need to have the management or the gateways in country, or even on-premise, is the flexibility that we can provide. Not many SASE providers have this flexibility, because you always have to go to the cloud. But in our region, our governments need to have a more secure setup, and they want to have their gateways in country. So we as OmniClouds have done that in more than one country, and it was very successful. So just in a nutshell, to summarize, we provide simplified WAN management, we assure the application performance, and we help you manage your on-ramp to the cloud with the best reliability, with enhanced security, with best performance, faster time to market. And with our zero-touch deployments, we have many success stories that show that it's the go-to solution. I just here want to share some numbers that show you how the cost saving can be done, whether you implement the SASE across branches, or you add the users later on. These are some numbers to show the cost saving can reach up to 70%, from 40 to 70% to be more accurate, because here we're not just looking at the CapEx or the direct costs, we're also looking at the indirect costs. So today you go ahead and purchase a solution, and then when you come to the implementation and distributing the devices across the branches and finding the engineers who have to manage everything, it gets complicated, and you find a lot of hidden costs that were not considered. So here, with zero-touch provisioning, with centralized management across branches and remote workers, all tightly integrated in one solution, there are a lot of savings that can be. So our unique selling points, again, we have local and global POPs. So if you want your solution to be completely local, we are very unique in this area, and we can provide you this. Even if you have global POPs, but you want to have a dedicated pipe that's very secure and very reliable. It's committed SLA and committed latency. We can provide you this. Our support is 24/7. We can provide fully managed services. We have very flexible payment models. It can be monthly recurring charge or quarterly or even annually. So all these advantages make us the most unique solution. So by here, I will end my presentation, and I will be happy to take your questions. I hope it was useful and it met your expectations in every way. Thank you.
Okay, so we have one question here regarding the Omni Remote. Yes, we have both options. You can have the Omni Remote as a SASE client. We support multiple devices, laptops and mobile phones. And you can have it also as a small home office appliance. So both options are possible with our solution. So in terms of the vendor that we are relying on for our SASE solution, of course, as I said, we are a digital service provider. So we are normally vendor agnostic. So we support multiple vendors, but currently the setup that we are relying on is the Versa setup, and it's a very secure and very coherent SASE solution. But there are also discussions with other vendors that we are working on. So our local POPs in the MEA regions, we have in UAE, we have in Bahrain, we have in Egypt. There are, I think we have in Kuwait as well. There's a list of POPs in the region that we have. Okay, for the question regarding Saudi Arabia's regulations, if you don't mind, Uzair, I will take your question and we'll get back to you on that one. We'll need to get back to the technical team to give you a specific detailed response for this one. Okay. Okay. As I said, being a digital service provider, so we we already have our setup in every country to provide the SD-WAN and the SASE services as a service. So today you do not need to put capex. You just come to us, and we do the sizing, we do all the assessment that is needed, and we provide you with the solution on a monthly recurring charge. So it's like you are renting the service. You are not investing in technology. This gives you the advantage, of course, of not being locked with a certain technology, of being agile in case the technology advances after a year or two. You don't have to stick with the technology that you invested in. You can always benefit from the contract that we have together in upgrading and enhancing the solution that you have. So we have multiple levels of service in terms of network assessment, providing you with the solution design. Then we have NOC services, we have SOC services, we have a lot of services that we can help you with. So it's not just the SD-WAN is, of course, the core, but there are many services that we provide on top of it.
Thank you very much, Nora. We have a few more questions. Rajesh Kumar says, customer will have any option to select vendor or product for SASE solution?
We always check customer requirements first, and then we give the recommendation what is the best solution that fits those requirements. So it's always depending on the architecture and the requirement of the customer, and we go with what fits this requirement best. And the reason we have our setup today with Versa is because it's very flexible. It's hardware agnostic, so we have much more flexibility in choosing the hardware, and it's more software based, which is much more intelligent. So it gives a lot of flexibility to fit the majority of the customer requirements. But still, if there is something else that is needed, we are happy to help.
Okay, there's a question from Muhammad Khidr. He says, as far as I understood, SASE provider, in your case Versa, will have a distributed POPs to be close to the customer to avoid any latency. In case there is no POP in some location, what is your solution? I'm not sure about the next sentence. It says you go EX with Zscaler.
Okay, regarding Zscaler, we do integrate with Zscaler, if this is the answer to the question. But in terms of POPs, as I explained, we have our POPs, and we are also directly connected to multiple global cloud providers. So this is definitely not an issue. We can always be able to provide the best path for every region.
Okay. I just wanted to mention that at the end of the webinar, the entire recording will be uploaded on YouTube, and you will have access to the PPT as well, the presentation, so you can check for yourself all the POPs and the different locations where we are available. Ansif Muhammad says, do you have partnership regional ISPs with regional ISPs, and what kind of partnership you have with them, and how does it mutually benefit from the ISP's own existing new customers?
Yes, definitely. We do have partnerships with ISPs, like our partnership with Sahara Net, for example. We're doing this webinar together today. So across the region, we make sure to have a lot of proper channel. We have value-added partners, and we have ISPs. And the way we do it is it's like a mutual engagement. We sign an agreement with many requirements from our side. What we provide, we give them the training, the sales enablement. We support across the whole sales cycle. So there is a specific channel program for every kind of partner, and it's beneficial for the customers of the ISPs because they can provide added value to their customers. So today they're not just talking to their customers about connectivity; they're providing a full ICT portfolio as a service. So a lot of service providers are actually coming to us to expand their portfolio and generate revenue streams from different areas, and so on and so forth.
Thank you, Nora. Nora, we have from Mahmoud Yusuf. Do you support CASB? Which type do you support, inline or API? This is very technical. Please help.
Yeah, but I'll take that question and get back to you with the right answer.
Okay, Ansif, we do have your email. We will make sure to get back to you on this question. We see three people have actually upvoted it, so we will make sure to get back to you on that. Okay, any other questions? Okay, we have from Kifah Al Basha. If we consider Versa Networks SD-WAN and the multiple levels of services they already have, what do you do on top of it?
Sorry, Yasmin, I can't see the question. Can you repeat it again, please?
Kifah Al Basha, if we consider Versa Networks as SD-WAN and the multiple levels of services they already have, what does OmniCloud do on top of that?
I already answered that one, but again, SD-WAN and SASE, on top of it, we provide the solution as a service, so you do not need to have to invest in CapEx. You come to us, we do the assessment with you, we give you the advice on the best solution that fits your requirement. We support multiple transport options, so we have a very flexible setup in terms of the solution to provide. And on top of it, we provide security services, we provide consulting services. So we have, but the major advantage that we provide is the OpEx model, which everyone is looking after today, because no one wants to put CapEx in technology anymore, because technology is changing by the day, and every year or two there's a new enhancement. There are higher speeds in networking, so I want to upgrade my routers to the highest model. I want to get the new generation of the router XYZ. So when you have it as a service model, you have the right to get the latest version within your contract, and you don't need to wait and keep working with an obsolete technology until you have the justification to do a new investment. So from my point of view, the highest advantage that we have is the OpEx based model, our business model. And of course, our NOC team, we have a very strong NOC team providing NOC services. We have also SOC services that we provide. Sometimes people want to implement the SOC, but it's a hassle for them, and they don't want to invest a lot in hiring a lot of people. So we do it as a service as well. So we have in our portfolio a lot of services that we can provide.
Thank you, Nora. So Kifah, basically we are providing you with managed services. Anything that you need in any scope, you pretty much come to OmniClouds and we handle it from our end. So you don't have to worry about capital investment, you don't have to worry about equipment of hiring. Everything is handled by OmniClouds on top of obviously the expertise that Versa very wonderfully provides with their devices. Zuhair Mujtaba says, how do your solutions help customers comply with? Oh, okay, we have already answered that. Uzair, we'll get back to you. We have to make sure our information is correct. We do have everybody's email on board with us, and we will get in touch. Again, Muhammad Khudr says, what sort of tools do you offer to let the customer monitor and manage his network infrastructure?
So in terms of orchestration and management for the SD-WAN and SASE solution, it's built in. We have the Versa director and orchestrator, which is very user-friendly, and you can manage it from anywhere. And there is built-in also analytics, which gives you visibility on utilization in terms of who is using what. And this is where you manage also the configurations. So we have zero-touch provisioning. You can deploy different templates of configuration to be applied on different users. And the advantage here is that the SASE and the SD-WAN are both managed from a single interface. So it's the networking and the security as well, with built-in next generation firewall, UTM, intrusion detection and prevention. All this is managed and monitored from a single interface. So this is all embedded in our solution.
Okay, Nora, the very last question. We need to let Nora go. It's from Ammar Al-Tawil. Hi again. How about data protection? How do we provide that?
As I said, there is built-in full security stack in our solution. So there is zero touch network access. There is DLP, CASB. All these features are embedded in our solution, and there is next generation firewall, antivirus. There is a full security stack included in our solution.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much, Nora, for the very informative webinar. We will send you a few questions from our wonderful attendees. We have one last question. Is that okay with you?
Yes, sure.
Man Tantawi, is your single pane of glass that of Versa solution, or is it an independent vendor agnostic portal?
No, it's in the current setup that we have, it's mainly the Versa solution.
Okay, great. For everybody, thank you very much for your time in attending this webinar. If you have any questions, you can kindly send it to marketing@omniclouds.com. Thank you very much, Sahara Net, for the support with this webinar. The response was wonderfully overwhelming. We're so happy with it. Thank you very much, Nora, for the wonderful information and for the Q&A session.
Thank you.
This recorded webinar will be uploaded on our YouTube. So you can just go to YouTube and put in OmniClouds and you'll find the whole recording and you'll find the PPT also. Thank you very much. Everybody have a good day. See you next month for the next webinar.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Yasmin.
Thank you.